The time is just gone 9:35 a.m. as we continue with the broadcast. Now, this broadcast actually fills me with a lot of emotion because there are people that enter into your life. There are people who come into this world that make a difference. There are people that come into this world who leave their footprints in the sands of time. And one individual we're talking about, Ierfaan Cassim, rahimahullah, CEO of Muslim Hands South Africa, popular radio presenter. Sadly, 2 days ago, Ierfaan Cassim passed away in his sleep peacefully at his Ottery home, and it is believed that he died of natural causes. And we at Salam Media will be doing a great injustice if we don't pay special tribute to this giant of a man, this man who has achieved so much. And we know his Janazah Salah was performed at Masjid al Ummah in Ottery, and an appropriate name, Ummah, because Muslim Hands South Africa, the organization that he had stood for, the fundraising that he has done, and all over this time, the difference that he's made in the lives of many people that Muslim Hands had served. And this is the reason why we are paying tribute this morning. We've got four people very, very close to him. One being the cousin to the late Ierfaan Cassim, Dr. Omar Esau. We've got Nazir Paulsen, close friend, member of parliament, close friend to the late Ierfaan Cassim. We've got Peter Heeger, another close friend, and we've got Beresford Williams, close friend, and also former president of the Western Province and CSA Cricket. And I see all of you have come up on screen. To all of you gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and welcome and wonderful you're able to join us in paying tribute to the late Ierfaan Cassim.
Morning.
Right. We'd like to start off with the cousin of the late Ierfaan Cassim, Dr. Omar Esau. And I'm sure as a family, emotional as well, gone to the mercy of our Creator, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, at a young age of 54. But these 54 years, I suppose, a lot that one can actually reflect on what you personally can reflect on, and just to give us an insight as to who the late Ierfaan Cassim was, Dr. Omar Isa.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and a very good morning to all the listeners, and thank you for having me. Well, Ierfaan Cassiem, born in District 6 on the 25th of December 1968. So when you're born on the 25th of December 1968 or 25th of December, it really tells you that this person has a personality of mix. You know, being a Muslim and born on the 25th of December shows that we want to have integration wherever he goes. So he is a child of the struggle, and he lived and remembered it. As he walked his path, he carried with him his fellow family members, his friends, and his neighbors. He represents a child caught up in apartheid and in adult life trying to make sense of our new democracy that left him with equal frustrations and hence a continued struggle. You can't forget Ierfaan always lamenting on Facebook, whether it's load shedding, whether it's about COVID. So always speaking the community language. They were then forced to move from District 6 to, Lotus River, where he met a lot of his friends. That will speak about that at a later stage. But I just want to give a background of his family. He's the grandson of Asma Abdurrauf, was the daughter of Imam Abdullah Abdurrauf. You know, the Abdurrauf family straight from Tuanguru. So he's got a big lineage there. And he's also the grandson of Amardin Harun, who's the father of Imam Abdullah Harun. So he has, the social justice blood, in him. A very humorous person, but what I can mention, two things: a strong sense of justice, and then, of course, he always served the underprivileged. I think that is a good introduction to our beloved friend and family member that passed on, Ierfaan Cassim.
Yes, and also we're honored to have all three of his close friends with us as well, and one of them being yourself, Nazir Paulsen. Now, from what we know of Ierfaan Cassim, is he was a humanitarian, a true humanitarian. And at Salam Media, we recognize the achievements of humanitarians because this is a premise that we started off at Salam Media as humanitarian journalism. So we recognize his efforts, but I'm sure just as a friend, there is just so much that you can, and we won't be doing justice in a matter of a few minutes in terms of your recollections of Ierfaan Cassim and what he stood for and what he had achieved, Nazir.
Shukran so much, brother Inayat, and greetings once again to the fellow panelists, Dr. Omar, Peter Heeger, Beresford Williams. It's very nice to see Capetonians. Um, Brother Inayat, my recent interaction with Ierfaan was when he was in West Africa among some brethren there, and he told them that he knows an EFF MP, and they said, "Really?" And he did a video call, and it was so lovely to connect with him on his while he's doing his work, and also to see, you know, you're not present there, but you've got a brother that speaks of you and thinks of you, and that is very rare today. A few months ago, I was on my way to. I spoke to him and I told him I'm on my way to a very poor township in the Overberg, and he said to me, "Come around here. I want to give you some food parcels to give to them." And he says, "Give them to the poorest people you can find there." So this was the nature of Irfan Qasim. He didn't ask, was it a Muslim, Christian? He says, "Give it to the poorest people amongst us." And that's the nature of the man. Also during COVID, you know, when we were all in isolation and coming out of isolation, Irfan was the one to suggest that we have a get together. We then had a afternoon session of music and braaiing, and he, all of his friends were gathered uh, with him. It was a wonderful occasion, since it was a very somber period of COVID and isolation, and we were just coming out of it. And you know, it was wonderful to connect with people that you haven't seen for a while. He also had this addiction for this place called Jacob's Ladder, where it's quite a trying uh, bit of effort to climb the stairs. It's a few hundred stairs that Irfan did on a regular occasion. I did it a few times with him. I couldn't keep up with him. He was a tremendously fit and strong individual, and when he got to the top, he ran down Boys Drive to or Kalk Bay, and from Kalk Bay, we would then take a run back to Surface Corner in Musenberg. So the man was an incredibly fit and strong man. So you can imagine, given that, you know, it was really Allah's will that this is how this man must go peacefully in his sleep, as opposed to having a tumultuous death. And Alhamdulillah for that. There was no better way for a person of Irafan's nature and stature to pass away, but peacefully in his sleep, as you've stated. And as Dr. Umar says, he was born on the 25th of December. Now, in the Christian tradition, it's the birth of Jesus, a person of saintly characteristics. So I think it kind of sums up our brother Irfan as well, that he had this wonderful nature. Um, he was a friend to everyone, but he was also a very fair and sensible person. I cannot think of him ever having ill feelings towards anyone. Even within our WhatsApp chat group that we all members of, he brought the humor, he brought he made sense of things. He was really a wonderful person to be associated with, and one I'm very happy that I can consider that he considered me a friend and an associate, someone worthy of associating with.
Yes, Nazir. In fact, I can actually sense the emotion in your voice as you speak about Ierfaan Cassim, and I'm sure Peter Heeger as well, filled with emotion. I see you with your hand on your chin, but digesting everything that Nazir Paulsen has been saying. And to lose a close friend is not easy. It's someone you've grown up with, you've lived with, you've shared so much with, and I'm sure that there are many memories that are going through your mind right now. And perhaps, Peter, just looking at Ierfaan Cassim, what was so special about this man? What stood out for you being such a close friend to him?
Good morning and salam, everybody. Yes, Ierfaan was a great friend and a great loss to all of us, I think. The bottom line, he had a dry sense of humor, and him and I used to often tease people, and sometimes people used to get upset with us. But as the two previous speakers have said, he was a great humanitarian. He always thought about his fellow human beings. And one of the greatest traits of Ierfaan was that he could bring people together across the divide. He often invited me into the radio station at 786 to comment on an issue or two. And that to me was his greatest characteristic. He was a great lover of sport. And as Nazira said, every morning I used to wake up and see these wonderful pictures of the quaint town of Cork Bay, where Jacob's Ladder is situated, and doing his daily exercise. On Sunday morning, he was up there in the rain. Um, he was fit. He encouraged us all to go there, especially during COVID, because we couldn't go to the gym or do our regular exercises. And as Nazira said, he encouraged us. He was fit, and I'm not that fit. I'll admit that up front. And he used to come up behind me, and I used to fear this. Here's Ierfaan coming. I must try and beat him to the top. But he would always just pass me and say, comrade. And he used to always greet me with the words, comrade. And sadly, Monday morning, we got the news. At 1 minute to 10 on Sunday evening, he texts me on the journalist text that WhatsApp group we have, and he asked me what time was the men's US Open tennis final starting. And that's the way I would remember him. A great person. He loved his sport. Another great feature of him was during the New Year's test at Newlands. We often came together and had lunch, and that was the highlight for us. In fact, quite a few people joined our table, like the commentator Shafiq Abrams and Craig Murray, the former high performance coach of Cricket South Africa, Vincent Barnes, and a number of journalists used to sit around that table. And we used to discuss the old days when we played. We were divided in our play, and just have a good laugh. In fact, it irritated some of the more professional journalists and the ones from the previous era that we could muster a group and we could reminisce on cricket in the old South Africa. But he never brought a grudge against anybody. And I'm very sad and I'm lost. When I open my phone in the morning, I don't see those beautiful pictures. Even like a day today where it's raining, it would take a lot for Ierfaan to have stayed at home and not gone on his training run. So I really, truly miss a great guy. And I want to thank you for allowing me to pay this short tribute to him today.
No, we thank you for coming on as well, Peter. And I know these are difficult times, and I just want to get to Beresford Williams as well. And a lot, Beresford, has been said about Ierfaan Cassim, his involvement in sports, in sporting structures, and as Peter mentioned about Newlands and about the cricket and reminiscing about cricket. And I'm sure looking at yourself as well in your position as the former president of Western Province and also CSA Cricket, just looking at it from a sporting perspective, these are people that come once in a blue moon, and I'm seeing some comments that have come through as well where someone says, Hasnain Abdullah, Mr. Cassim, we will miss your Breakfast Club show on Radio 786. But just your recollections and looking at it from a sporting perspective, his passion for sports, Beresford.
Assalamu alaikum again to all the viewers and the listeners, to the respected team this morning. I must say it's a very difficult morning since the passing of Ierfaan Cassim. You know, what was strange, that day I was caught up in a matter, and I just did not take notice of my phone. And when I realized it was something to 5 and I got calls, people are saying, where are you, what's happening? And I couldn't comprehend the fact that they said, Ierfaan Cassim. I said, who are you talking about? Ierfaan Cassiem. I said, no, it can't be true. And this morning, you know, it is extremely difficult. But I want to say this morning at the outset, I would like to say that we continue to pray to the Almighty, that the Almighty grants him a high place in paradise. More importantly, we also pray, and my heart goes out to his family, Zubaydah, and his sons, Ahmad and Ibrahim, who he loved so much, and also spoke about how well the young boys were doing. But coming back to sport, yes, I remember fondly, you know, we played against each other back in the day. But as time went on, he emerged as a top-class journalist, an intellectual, and in fact, he was ahead of his time. You know, before freedom arrived, you know, sport was a major vehicle that was used against the diversity and the oppressive rule in our country. And you know, we mobilized through sport. And what he did as a journalist and an anchor on many shows, he used that platform to promote, to recognize the legacy of so many of our legends, so many of our leaders that have contributed and in fact gave the ultimate their life so that there could come change in our country. And today, our democracy cannot go unnoticed where a guy like him, a youngster like him, fought for justice, for peace. And, you know, what stands out, you know, his passion and enthusiasm was infectious, but he also stood for non-racialism. You know, he was fair in every way. He never looked down on where you come from, your background, your religion, your back, you know, where you come from. He respected you. He treated you with dignity and respect in many ways. So Ierfaan wasn't only a friend, he became a confidant. We spent lots of time together on many matters. And like I said, he was very smart. He was ahead of his time. And, you know, the innovation that he brought about, you know, the poorest of the poor benefited because he had a heart of gold where he made sure that the less privileged or the underprivileged was catered for. And he gave up all his energy to make a difference in the lives of those that are struggling. So yes, I'm going to miss him. You know, the fact that he's a person that can argue his point very strongly, but at the end of the day, he respects each other's opinion, and that would not impact or affect the relationship because, you know, he was a man close to my heart. Somebody that, and you know what stood out, it's amazing how, you know, working for Muslim men, that, you know, in cricket, you talk about balance. Balance is important when you're batting or bowling. But in his life, he had balance. He brought balance. You know, the Almighty was close to his heart. He lived like a good human being every day. And that was the balance that he had in his life. So whatever, all the great deeds that he could do and the impact that he had on society, not only in South Africa, on the African continent and abroad, you know, he just had that heart, always empathetic, and his love for mankind was just enormous. So this morning, it just gives me great privilege and honor to pay a short tribute to a good man, a God-fearing man, and somebody that would go, that you knew he had your back at all times. You know, when he smiled at you, he meant it. When when you were in tough times, he went out of his way to make a difference and to support you. So I can only pray that he gets a high place in paradise. Thank you
Well,
for that, George.
we say amen to that. And gentlemen,
Amen.
I know we won't be doing justice in a matter of few minutes, so we're going to go for a quick ad break, and we come back and we. Oh, okay, there's no ad break. In fact, my producer
Good.
has given me permission to continue. And just to get back to Dr. Omar, now, Dr. Omar,
Yes.
from what we've heard from all three, from Nazir Paulsen, from Peter, and from Beresford, they definitely are going to miss him. He's left a huge gap. He's left a huge hole in their hearts as well, and he certainly is going to be missed. Now, for someone like Ierfaan Cassim, we've heard he was an all-rounder, a media personality, a humanitarian in every regard, and also looking at his sporting passion and also the contributions that he has made. Just and our heart actually goes out to his family, to his wife, to his son as well. Our condolences go with them. That they exercise patience. The Almighty Allah grant them patience and sabr at a time like this, and to the rest of the family as well. Just take us through Ierfaan Cassim as a person, as a family man, and how he has been seen by his family.
Yes, first of all, I mean, if you look at Irfan and you look at all four of us, we are people that we are busy on the road most of the time, and Irfan has been on the road, and his family members have probably felt the brunt of that, always in meetings, always going to gather people, do things in the community. So he's not a lot at home, but he brings back a lot to home. So that is something to comprehend when you speak about the activist, he's not a lot at home, but he's trying to make a home for all, and I think that is so sad. I've seen in a lot of in my years, I've seen a lot of people active in sports, active in political organizations, and yet when they get home, they are lonely because they have that love for humanity, the big thing. And I think that is something that we all still need to comprehend and understand. But we know that the dedication and the love for the family was always there, because when he goes out to go fetch something or do something, he not only wanted to provide for his own family, he wanted to give it to the larger community. And he said the whole world is his family. And I think that spirit, of Irfan, of course, says a lot to all community activists. And then, of course, what we're going to have, not as a family, his family and his friends, he all saw them as one, you see, because sometimes you can be close to friends and your family might be in a distance. But that doesn't mean you're neglecting your family, but it's humanity. So I hope that integrated type of thinking we can comprehend. So on Sunday morning, through to Jacob's Ladder. Irfan, we're going to have 9 o'clock. We're going to gather at Jacob's Ladder. Whether I can't walk or run or whatever, I'm going to slowly take each step of the 336 steps. And I'm going to pray not only for Irfan, but for humanity, and say, let's make this country a success. Irfan wanted to see South Africa a success. Yes, you had everybody saying, let's support the All Blacks, but we get our pension and we got IDs. He says it is green and gold. So, yes, if we want the Springbok, he also said, look, we want everybody to accept our vision. What's wrong if we keep the Springbok and we go on leaps and bounds and make this a stronger society? So it's all about meeting halfway and not saying, let's chase all the people back to the sea and they must all go back where they come from. Let's come together. The middle way, I think that is what Irfan sort of preached, and he practiced that, and something of what you call uh, diversity and inclusivity. That stands out for me when I think of him. And as a family member, our condolences go to his wife, Zubaida, who's always been there for him, and his two youngsters who's at university. And I think that is where the community comes in to give him support. And most of all, he's got a brother, Majidi Cassim, who's listening, very quiet, unassuming gentleman who's always doing the backup for the family. And he's also got another brother, Amin, who's teaching at the moment in I think it's in Saudi Arabia, but also a community activist. So yes, all I can say, um, when you pass on and it says to you, salam, the issue of, you heard when they say you come into heaven, then they say Alhamdulillah, meaning that, God is pleased with you, man, and the angels are pleased with you. And I think for me, I can definitely say that Ierfaan has done a great job. You know, he has passed on. It's now our time to sort of take the bat and go out in the middle of the pitch and try to make a success of the game. And yeah, it's a beautiful ending, and all that ends well is well, of course. And that's all I can say. And as a family member, yes, yeah, he's my family member, but he's also my friend, you know. And I think that made me more sort of close to him, and I could resonate with him. And our ages is more or less similar. I think he's a bit older than me or whatever. No, I mean, he's younger than me. So having said that, we're going to miss him, you know. But in missing him, should encourage us to be, better human beings. So yes, thank you. I don't want to take all the time. There's great speakers here on the panel as well. Thanks.
Yes, shukran for that, Dr. Umar. And, talking of great speakers, obviously, Nazir is never ever short of words. And, Alhamdulillah, it's a company that he's kept as well. But Nazir, just from what Dr. Umar obviously has said as well, is, taking lessons from the lives of people, taking
Yeah.
lessons from those that you've been closely associated with, that you've got to know so well. And I'm sure that there are many lessons for you personally, Nazir, that you can take from the life of Ierfaan Cassim as well. And I'm sure that there is a lot that you will also miss about him as well. And just to look at that impact that he's made on your life, and what is it most that you've learned from the man, and what lessons can you take away from his life?
Um, as I stated before, Irfan never, and Brother Peter also said, Irfan wasn't a man who bore grudges. You'll have a disagreement now, and we know there's one particular individual in our group that is always disagreeing. He's removing it from the group, and he's being added back into the group. So Irfan is, any disagreement is only for that moment. It doesn't last forever. So that is was one of his most beautiful qualities, and obviously, I must say we appreciate the sacrifices his family made to allow Irfan to be and to play the role he played in society. Not just locally, Cape Town, Western Cape, across the country. He was there when tragedy struck. He went throughout Africa. He's done he's executed his duties overseas. So this was truly a man that lived for the global community. Not just isolated in Cape Town. And if you look at his friends, also such a diverse group of friends, all very different in nature and backgrounds, and he was close to all of us. He found a place in all our lives, and that is just one of the most remarkable characteristics of a wonderful human being. And he was exemplary in behavior and attitude, and it's so being a Muslim. He saw time for everyone. His friends were Christian, Muslim, the diverse group of people in the Western Cape. So I think those are the lessons we must carry forward, that Irfan lived for all of society and all the differences, different people in society, and we have to carry on with that legacy. And I'm looking forward to the Jacob's Ladder. I know I'm at least going to beat Doc and Peter on Sunday. So I'm really looking forward to it. And Doc isn't younger than Irfan. Irfan was only 54.
You did correct him.
Irfan was younger than I am. But if I were to choose how I die, I'd want it to be as painless and as peaceful as Irfan's death. So Allah knows best. The way he lived is the way he left. Peaceful, calm. It was and I can agree with Beresford. Every morning Irfan used to send a surah to all of us. And on the morning he passed away, I got the last one at 4:39, and it was on repentance. So he even before he left, he had to leave us with that last message that we don't have forever to make up for anything that or anyone that we've wronged.
Mm.
So that repentance has to be done, and we have to be aware of it. So even before he leaves us with his last message, and shortly after that, he passes on. I mean, how beautiful is that? And you know, like Peter said, he had this breakfast show on a radio station, a community radio station, and he made a point of always. So because I traveled around a lot, he always used to say, "Let me know when you sit down. I'd like you to come and fill us in what's happening in your life. This is a community radio station. We need to, and we must let people know what we're doing, and especially with things that we're doing for community." So I love that nature about that man. He never othered anyone. He'd rather see how he could draw you close, and that was most beautiful. And those are things that we can all learn, and we can all follow and make part of our existence to be the type of person that Irfan was. And he will be sorely missed by not just his family, but also all of us here. I mean, it's Friday. I don't get his message, and it's sad. And I would always go and listen to that surah over and over and think, you know, the, what message is it trying to? Because I'm sure there was a reason why he chose that particular surah to send around, and it's most beautiful. And shukran to Salam Media for giving us this opportunity to pay tribute to a friend, a brother, someone who's been such an important part of our lives, and in a short space of time at Muslim hands has made such a great impact in the work of Muslim hands. Suddenly Muslim hands became a household name. Those that didn't know about it now, because of Brother Irfan and the work that he did, and also encouraging other people to support charitable causes and to support those who are vulnerable and marginalized. And we are very grateful for to Muslim hands also for having chosen someone like that. The next person they choose must has got big shoes to fill.
Well, definitely Nazir, and also I think Peter as Nazir mentions, a legacy that he's left behind, a legend in every right. And when Nazir speaks about the final verse in the ayat of the Quran where he spoke about repentance, and we know that as you're getting ready to meet your Maker, it is about forgiveness, it is about repentance, it is about forgiving those who may have harmed you, and also just your end when you pass away in your sleep, there is just so much benefit, there is so much merit, shows that the man was at peace with himself right till the end, until the point when he breathed his last. And that is now the legacy of a man who lived a full life, he lived a complete life, he lived a fulfilling life where he has benefited so many people throughout the young 54 years that he was granted on earth. And I'm sure, Peter, for you, he's going to be sorely missed. But also, the question that I had asked Nazir, what is it about the man you personally will be missing?
Among the other things that I've mentioned earlier is his manner and his way of summing up a situation. I had tea with him, with another colleague of mine. We work and serve on a humanitarian organization as well. And last Thursday, and just before my friend Dr. Richard Noor arrived, him and I had a chat, and we were talking about the elections regarding cricket. And he's summing up all the situation at Western Province, where I worked for a number of years with the board at Unity and that. So I'll miss that intellectual discussion with him, whereby he would sum up the situation, he would sum up the situation in the country. I will miss his ability to bring people into the fold. I mean, there's a popular guy on our WhatsApp group, Mobeen Muhammad, who jumps in and jumps out, as Nazir said. I'm sure he's referring to him. But he took him by the hand and introduced him to sports journalism. And Mobeen is now, the character in the media conferences. He had Jake White on the ropes not too long ago. And the other thing is, he would always make way for other people. He was telling me that he was supposed to be in Sri Lanka, but because of other business, humanitarian business in South Africa, he had to stay. And he said to colleague, so he was unselfish in his demeanor, in his actions. And as I've said before, the greatest thing for me, and I think Nazir and other speakers have said, he cut across the divide. Politically, religiously, color, everything in South Africa. And his work for the poor resonates with me. I always like people who go out and assist the poor. He was a professionally qualified person, a highly qualified person. And him and I often spoke business. In fact, we were going to start a business together at some stage before COVID, and unfortunately, COVID struck in the sporting arena. So I'll miss him for all those communications we've had, the chats we've had, the WhatsApp messages. He would always say, "Comrade, we're going to have a coffee today in a normal hangout." And I'd say, "Yes, let's go have a coffee. Let's go have a cup of tea." And people, when people want to come into your circle because the topics we discussed, and you would be the leader of raising those day-to-day topics, whether it's politics, whether it's sport, whether it's religion, whether it's humanitarian. And the other thing is his sense of humor. I always miss that. Him and I would go on Facebook or on social media and set the rest of the world up, right? And we would do things like we would back England, not England in the World Cup. And everybody gets upset with us. But people still get upset with me today. They don't see the humor. It is just there to bait people. And he would come online or he'd tell me, "Comrade, let's start a chat here, quick. You know what I mean?" And we would really have the people some people would catch on what we're trying to do, and others would really get upset with us. And we would just have a good laugh afterwards. And that was the type of guy that I want to remember him. And I want to wish his family well at this time. It's not easy. And let's support him. I said I'm not going to walk up Jacob Ladder because my doctor told me my knees will give in soon. But let's see, Nazir. Maybe I can still beat you on Sunday.
Well, let's see, and just to get to Beresford, as I mentioned in my opening remarks, I spoke about a legend, someone who had actually firmly and deeply entrenched their footprints in the sands of time. And I'm sure over the years, and there'll still be a lot more because this is a legend who won't be forgotten. His memory, and obviously with what is going to take place at Jacob's Ladder on Sunday, is just the beginning. But I'm sure looking ahead, a lot more will be said about this giant of the man going ahead and into the future.
Absolutely, Mr. Wadi. I just also, it's amazing listening to Peter and Nazir and Doc. He was pleading with me that we need to have another get together, a cup of tea, and let's just chat. And, I told him, good, that's great intentions. We committed to that, and we'll get the team around the table. It wasn't to be. But, in summing up, I just want to re-emphasize that I spoke about the intellectual. I mean, Peter makes the point. He was ahead of his time, and he could assess, he could make decisions, or he could make recommendations on a situation. And most times he was correct. But what stands out for me about Ierfaan is the fact that the man has got great character. He's just a guy with great character. And that stood out for me as a confidant and a servant of the people. Finally, what he also reinforced was, anything is possible with a willing heart, notwithstanding adversity, challenges, or times when things seemed hopeless. He inspired hope, His passion and enthusiasm was infectious, and more important, till the end, the man stood for always fighting for social justice, and treating everyone with dignity and respect. And that one, that resonates with me and be with me forever. And the underlying principle of non-racialism, and just talking about the respect and not judging people on where they come from. So I just want to thank the Almighty for putting a great man in my life, but more important, what he did and served and gave of himself so generously, that we just continue to pray for him and the entire family. So what a privilege and what an honor to have been part of that journey, and will continue to be inspired by those fond memories and the legacy of the man, on the way forward. Yeah. But thanks again for this opportunity. In a short time, we've tried to just to give a perspective of a solid human being that served humanity with great aplomb. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for that, Beresford, as well. And obviously, in this short time, we still wouldn't be doing justice in paying tribute to the late Ierfaan Cassim. Gentlemen, I'm going to put you on hold right now, because what I want to do right now is I know tributes will come pouring in over a long period of time. And we've got a 90-second clip that we'd like to play out. And that is the reason why I would like to keep you on hold. Yusuf Kanuni, aka tribute on video that we will play out to the late Ierfaan Cassim.
I was here to waiting for a friend of mine who passed away actually in Cape Town.
Oh, I'm so sorry. So
Yeah,
sorry.
and he was from Muslim Hands, the CEO from Muslim Hands, Cape Town.
Take your time, Yusuf. Take your time. Were you there for the janaza?
No, he passed away in Cape Town, so I was waiting for him. I even spoke to the Moroccan embassy regarding his visa and so on, because he was going to come to. I'm so sorry.
No, I'm sorry that you are so devastated by the death of your friend. You must have been very, very close. Can we give you a minute and we'll get back to you, or are you okay to continue talking with us?
Yeah, so yeah, sorry for that.
No,
It's just a
don't
bit this,
apologize. Don't
it's hard, so
apologize.
yeah.
Absolutely. I'm thinking, as you becoming emotional, Yusuf, that you are so grief-stricken by the loss of your friend, also a fellow Moroccan, who is going to join you in Morocco, and you're absolutely devastated
He's
by his
actually
passing.
he's not a Moroccan.
Oh, he's
He's
not
fully Cape
Moroccan.
Townian. He's fully Cape Townian South African. His name is Ierfaan Cassim.
Oh, yes, we've
He's
heard of that. We've
yeah.
heard of
So
that. Yes, we've heard of his
he's
passing.
yeah. So I was waiting for him this week. He was actually last I was chatting to him. It was on a Sunday afternoon. I had a phone call with him. So he was I was looking forward to meet with him here in Casablanca. And from there we were going to go to Marrakesh and to surrounding areas in Marrakesh.
Yes, gentlemen, that was my colleague on Salam Media, Julie Ali, who had interviewed Yusuf Kanuni, and this had to do with the earthquake that had hit Morocco. But in these difficult times that Morocco obviously has been experiencing as a result of the earthquake and the aftermath, he still had time, and you could see how visibly and emotionally upset he was at the learning of the passing away of his close friend Ierfaan Cassim. So I thought, it's important that we needed to share this with you, being his close friends, his confidants, and his close associates, and also Dr. Omar Esau being a relative. So I thought, it would just be appropriate to actually play it out while I have all of you on, gentlemen, and as we have paid tribute. And as I mentioned, that these tributes will still continue. There will still be a lot, because it's amazing. It's only after the passing away of a person that sometimes we will hear stories, unbelievable stories from people coming out as to who the person really was, who he helped in a dire situation, in a need situation. And I'm sure a lot will actually still be coming out. And at some point in time, hopefully, all of this can be actually documented. So this legacy of this legend, Ierfaan Cassim, rahimahullah, will remain forever and will remain entrenched in the hearts of people that he has touched. To all of you, Dr. Omar, Esau, Nazir, Paulsen, Peter Heeger, and Beresford Williams, we thank you. We say shukran to all of you for taking time out this morning, for being part and parcel of this broadcast. And really, it gives us great honor here at Salam Media to be being part of this tribute that we've paid to this great man, Ierfaan Cassim, rahimahullah. Our du'as, our prayers are with him. Our prayers go with his family as well, that Allah grant them strength, patience in this difficult time. And also, we know Ierfaan Cassim is in a better place. His grave, his qabr is filled with nur. He's attained the forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And right now, it's his soul that has been separated from his body. And we also make dua for his higher stages in Jannah, inshallah.
Amin, inshallah. Shukran.
Shukran,
Okay.
shukran. Have a
Well,
wonderful day. Juma Mubarak to all. Okay.
Juma Mubarak to you as well. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Thank you very much.
Yes, what a wonderful tribute that has come through this morning, and really, it's kept me on the edge of my seat as well. And just listening to Yusuf Kanuni right at the end, and the emotion, and we see it with all the friends and the relatives of Ierfaan Cassim, that this is a man that has touched many, many hearts, and a legend in every sense of the word. And with that, I know we are running a bit late, but we're going to go for a break, and we come back, and we're still going to be talking about the Salam Media initiative together with Ayub Dadabai, and we're talking about the Al Aqsa educational tour that is due to take off next week, which is on the 22nd of September.